The crash that Kyron Lacey allegedly caused happened down there near the Dollar General, but his lawyer says that Lacey was down here when those two cars collided. They have looked into their response times to Tuesday night's calls, and they are opening a PIB investigation into this. You would hope that this level of flooding does not get to this point, and now this is what they're left with, unfortunately. Do you regret what you did?
Completely.
All these issues should be a little more seamless starting in the new year. That's because the Sewage and Water Board will be in charge of all the catch basins. We've been over here just grooving all day. Bienvenidos a Colombia. Daniel Callahan is now being held behind these walls here at the Plaquemines Parish Detention Center in Point Alahash. He was driven through these barbed fences around noon today. Tuesday, the City Council's lawyer, Adam Swensick, presented the City Council with this stack of evidence and charges against Gregory Joseph. Friday, Mayor Cantrell spoke to the most recent NOPD recruit class for nearly 10 minutes.
Good morning and congratulations.
But was mum when we tried to ask her several questions. Mayor Cantrell, any comment on the judge's decision to halt the travel ban? During her speech, she spoke about doing the right thing, but still being criticized.
Just like a mayor, police officer, you can go from being celebrated to being crucified.
The mayor has been dodging reporters' questions for months now, despite several controversies swirling like the travel ban. After the mayor and her administration said the city can't afford to pay a previously agreed to settlement to the Orleans Parish School Board, the council enacted a travel ban. The council said if the city can't afford to pay the kids, then they can't afford to pay for travel. A judge ruled the council didn't have the authority to do that. Even though the judge ruled in her favor, Cantrell didn't comment. Mayor Cantrell, can you speak about the judge's decision to halt the council's travel ban? After the ruling, Cantrell released a statement saying in part, quote, "The mayor remains hopeful that we can move past these disputes and work together to address the issues that matter most to the residents of New Orleans." The school board has taken the issue to court. Mayor Cantrell didn't comment on that either. Mayor Cantrell, any comment on the lawsuit with the... Plus, the city says it just recently found evidence that the Homeless Services Director, Nate Fields, kissed a worker while on the job, according to our partners at NOLA.com. The mayor did not comment when asked Friday. Mayor Cantrell, can you speak to the Nate Fields investigation?
Yeah. All right, take care.
The mayor is expected to decide disciplinary actions Fields may face. Despite no answer to any of our questions Friday, we'll continue to ask them. Alyssa Curtis, WWL, Louisiana. Throughout the day, in every single aspect, there has been a unified command in every single law enforcement agency here today.
The FBI is the lead investigative agency, and we're investigating this as an attack of terrorism.
FBI officials and several other law enforcement agencies are investigating a terrorist attack that happened on Bourbon Street early New Year's Day. According to police, just after 3:15 a.m., 42-year-old Shamsuddin Jabbar rammed his truck through Bourbon Street, then got out of his car and started shooting.
Weapons and potential improvised explosive devices, IEDs, were located in the subject's vehicle. Other potential IEDs were also located in the French Quarter.
Authorities say 14 other people have died and several others were injured, including 2 NOPD officers. The suspect in Jabbar was also killed, and police say he makes 15. But his death doesn't mean the end of the investigation. Despite the heavy police presence,
over the last 24 hours, we had approximately 400 officers in the French Quarter.
he was still able to make it through. Bourbon Street at Canal is supposed to have bollards to prevent cars from driving through the heavy pedestrian area. But according to the city, those bollards haven't been working, and they were part of the infrastructure project to be completed before the Super Bowl.
Bollards were not up because they are near completion, with the expectation of being completed, of course, by Super Bowl.
But NOPD says a unit was parked at the intersection and they had barricades up, but he drove up and over the sidewalk.
Of course, it wasn't something we expected to account for.
Now all hands are on deck, including NOPD, LSP, Orleans Parish Sheriff's Office, Jefferson Parish Sheriff's Office, and more, as leaders say safety is the #1 priority.
When we face evil, we have a choice. We can run in fear, or we can indeed stand in strength.
It's not any situations that I wish on anyone.
Vilma Palacios has been detained at the ICE detention center in Basile for almost 6 months.
I didn't think that I was going to be in here for such a long time.
She was arrested by ICE on June 26.
I was terrified because I was like, what is going on?
Palacios came to the United States when she was 7. After living in California for a bit, her family moved here to Louisiana, where she graduated high school. She had a work permit that expired in March of 2024. Palacios said she tried to renew it in 2023. It took a year for her to get a response. She says at that point there was some confusion and someone administering her case thought it was terminated. She says she sent in another application, and in January of this year, she got confirmation it was received.
It was still in the process.
Palacios recently graduated from LSU nursing school. She had a job at Toro lined up. She passed her registered nursing certification just 9 days before she was detained.
What do we want? You know, here's a perfect example of someone that has given so much to the community, to her family, her friends, and we don't want them here. I mean, that doesn't make sense.
Now, people who know her, like Rosemary Cortez, her aunt, and Matt Reese, one of her former instructors, are hoping she gets released soon. Reese says amid the nursing shortage, Palacios is the exact type of person we need in the community.
Vilma is ready to step up to the plate. She is a nurse. She is a compassionate and well-trained nurse, and she wants to be there. She wants to get back to the community.
But
I have become very exhausted being in this place, like mentally.
After the last 6 months, Palacios is considering self-deporting, even though she says this is her home.
Knowing that the laws are just not getting any better and they're not taking into consideration everything that I have done in this country. And my plan is like going back to Honduras.
The president says more than 100 targets have been hit in Iran. According to officials in Rhode Island, 2 people have been killed, 8 others are injured. The suspect is still at large. That's President Trump providing an update today, a day after the U.S. and Israel launched an attack on Iran and killed its supreme leader. The numbers are in, and Mardi Gras packed downtown New Orleans. The downtown development district says visits reached record highs this carnival season. New this morning, a man who made headlines for escaping the Tangipahoa Parish Jail in 2024 is now convicted of murder. Tangipahoa Parish District Attorney Scott Perlew says a jury found Amarion Hufkin shot Dante Perry and his 12-year-old child during a home invasion near Hammond in 2022. The Saints are back at the Dome tomorrow, and I know fans will be hoping the temperature stay nice and warm for a tailgate outing. Alexandra, is this sunshine and mild weather going to stick around, or should we expect some cooler temperatures? After the break, actor Shia LaBeouf is out of jail after posting bond for the second time in 2 weeks. And in the hours after the attack, other Jewish communities around the world held their menorah lighting ceremonies. That included one tonight right here in New Orleans. Rachel Hanley shows us what was different this year in the wake of the attack. Escaping New Orleans jail, 3 of the 10 inmates decided they just wanted to hang out in downtown, apparently. We just got this video from the Orleans Parish District Attorney's Office, and it shows that 3 of the inmates, including convicted killer Derek Groves, were just walking around in downtown. We call it the Central Business District. This is in the 800 block of Barone Street. 5 of the inmates are still out on the run, so this video could help them get a little bit closer to figure out where exactly they are still. We also learned in the past 48 hours that the New Orleans Police Chief, Superintendent Ann Kirkpatrick, didn't find out about the jailbreak from the Sheriff Susan Hudson. Actually, we found out that Kirkpatrick and some of the other officials in NOPD were in a meeting when they got notice from one of their captains who said, hey, I think something's going on at the jail. There may be a jailbreak. You might want to call over there. So the superintendent of the police called Sheriff Susan Hudson at about 10:30 in the morning, and Sheriff Susan Hudson said, yeah, something's going on. Some of the inmates may have escaped. This was at 10:30 in the morning. The escape happened at 1 in the morning. So this was over 9 hours after they had gotten out of the facility. 5 inmates are still on the run, so the main focus right now is to figure out exactly where they are and get them back into custody. But as the days go on, and once all of them are back in custody, there's going to be a lot of hearings, investigations, and probes into what happened, how this happened, and how we can avoid this in the future. This is Kyron Lacey's case file from the Lafourche Parish District Attorney's Office. And in it, the district attorney refutes some of the claims that are in LSP's report of what happened in the crash that led to Lacey's arrest. In this file, the district attorney points to the surveillance video from the gas station that LSP used for their report. They've also made that video public. They say the sound in that video is not correctly synced, so it makes it seem like Lacey was at a different position than what he actually was when the crash happened. This report also says that 1 second before the crash, Lacey was going back to his correct lane. And this is before the other driver in the Kia Cadenza took any evasive action or swerved. And at that point, the report says the two vehicles were 361 feet apart. And they say, should this have been a passing zone, Lacey would have been back in his lane with 3 times the required distance and would not have been responsible for any crash. Ultimately, the report says the driver of the Kia Cadenza was following too close, which caused her to take evasive action to avoid hitting the back of the gold truck that was in front of her. And it says the evidence submitted in the crash report does not support that Kyron would have known that his actions were the cause of the crash. We have another update regarding the terrorist attack that happened in New Orleans early this morning on New Year's Day. My name is Alyssa Curtis. I'm a reporter with WWL Louisiana, the CBS affiliate in New Orleans. We told you earlier about the suspect in this case who has since been killed, 42-year-old Shamsuddin Jabbar. But according to our sources, our law enforcement sources, he was allegedly renting an Airbnb in the St. Roch neighborhood on Mandeville Street. That was allegedly raided by police, and authorities say they confiscated items including suspected explosives or bomb-making material. They say a fire broke out at that Airbnb today, and they're working to figure out if the fire and the attack are linked. I'm not sure if I mentioned this earlier, but we can mention it again. Police say that there was an ISIS flag in the bed of the truck that he used to ram into people and kill people. Again, he is a U.S.-born citizen from Texas and an Army veteran. We also have some information on the victims in this case. We said earlier 15 people have died. Several other people are injured, including 2 NOPD police officers who were shot at as they were trying to arrest this man. One of the officers, at least one of the officers, is now home and recovering with his family. We know 18-year-old Nikira Cheyenne Dido was unfortunately killed. Dido's family says that she came to visit from Gulfport with her cousin and her friend. The coroner has not officially identified her, but her family says that they know, unfortunately, that she was killed. We also know 27-year-old Tiger Besh was also killed. Unfortunately, he's a 2015 graduate of St. Thomas More Catholic High School. He is the older brother of former LSU player Jack Besh. Besh was kept on life support until his family could arrive, unfortunately. We also know 37-year-old Reggie Hunter from Baton Rouge was unfortunately killed. He died from his injuries, and his cousin who was with him was taken to the hospital for injuries. According to our partners at the newspaper, they say Hunter went to Bourbon Street on a whim to ring in the new year with his cousin, and unfortunately that outing turned into the tragic death. We also know 28-year-old Nicole Perez from Metairie also died. She is a mother, and her 4-year-old is in the care of loved ones. We also know Kareem Badawi and Matthew Tenedorio were also tragically killed. Again, this is such an ongoing investigation. It's so fluid, so much information coming out at a rapid pace sometimes it's a little bit slower. I only have so much information as I'm out in the field, but if you want to learn more, if you want to find more information, you can go to our website, wwltv.com. You can check our app, WWL Louisiana, and there is so much information that I just cannot get on here quick enough, and that I even know at this point because it's so quickly changing. But please keep up with the story through other platforms.